solid minerals development, while Emeka Vitalis Obi, previously with the Ministry of Budget and Economic Development, has been reassigned to the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. Obodo Nnam will transfer from the Special Duties Office of the Head of Service of the Federation to the Ministry of Information and National Orientation. The statement noted that the reassignment reflects a continuing effort to enhance operational efficiency, foster innovation, and promote effective service delivery in alignment with the renewed hope agenda of the current administration. Moving on, the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps has announced the deployment of 35 medical professionals, including nurses and doctors, to Zanzibar, Tanzania, to address both educational and professional gaps in the country. Speaking at the event held in Abuja, Yusuf Yakub, the Director General of NTAC, highlighted the initiative aligns with the agency's mandate of sending volunteers to Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific nations in the need of expertise. Yakub commended President Tinubu for supporting Nigeria's foreign policy efforts in assisting countries in need. Moving on, the Nigerian Police Force has reactivated the issuance of tinted glass permits nationwide through a secure and user-friendly platform available at hosap.government.ng. Muyiwa Adejobi, spokesperson of the police, detailed in a statement that the move comes in response to widespread public complaints about the harassment of motorists over the use of tinted windows. He said the initiative reflects the need for a and accountable process for regularizing factory-fitted tinted glass on vehicles. Adejobi said the reactivation of the permit system is a strategic move to identify lawful users, such as individuals with medical requirements or members of the security community, while preventing misuse of criminal activities. He said it is expected to enhance police investigative capabilities and strengthen moral security and national security efforts. And elsewhere, a general court-martial in Enugu State has sentenced Adamu Mohammed, a soldier, to death by hanging for killing Hawa Ali, his girlfriend. Acting Deputy Director of 82 Division said in a statement that the court also sentenced Abubakar Yusuf to 10 years imprisonment for robbing a mall in Enugu State. Delivering the judgment, Sadisu Buhari, president of the 11-member GCM sitting at the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, said Mohammed was found guilty of murder under relevant sections of the Armed Forces Act 2004. Buhari noted that the judgment was handed down after a careful review of the soldier's record, his compassionate plea for mitigation, and in the interest of justice for the deceased. He noted that the findings and sentences pronounced for both soldiers are subject of confirmation by the appropriate authorities. Well, joining us to analyze the stories and more in the studio today is Barrister Darlington Agomo, who is, of course, VOP analyst and a legal practitioner. Good to have you, sir, in the studio.
Well, Ms. Child, how are you?
Thank you for joining me, sir.
My pleasure.
All right, Barrister, the news says, I want us to start off with some states in Nigeria not being able or refusing to pay the minimum wage. And I have some data here. Some of the ministries or states that has not fully implemented this minimum wage. I'm starting off with the FCT, Federal Capital Territory. Earlier this week and later part of last week, we saw people protesting in the FCT against the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike that he has refused to pay the minimum wage. We also have Taraba State in the list. There is Plateau State, there is Imo State, there is Cross River, there is Sokoto, there is Zamfara State. These are states that have not fully implemented the minimum wage. Like the news said, some states are just adding about 5,000 Naira to their workers. Is that a fair thing? With the current economic challenges and situation we're in Nigeria today? Is it fair to workers?
Yes, I think it is now left for those who have been telling me that governors are getting more allocations now. So they have enough money to pay.
Governors are actually getting more allocations.
But are you thinking of the inflation too? Inflation.
So what about the other governors are also paying?
And that's what I'm saying now. All of them cannot be the same. Their IGR is not the same. Their IGR is not the same. So we should be considering some of those things when we are trying to, beam our searchlight on governors.
But Barrister, now that you mentioned IGR, Imo State, for example, is on the list. I know that Imo State is one of the highest states with the highest IGR in the southeast, even more than Abia State. Why have they not paid the minimum wage? That's the question.
Now, when you are trying to look at this thing from all angles, you discover that some governors that belong to a particular political party, they have been acting with so much ignorance and impunity because they know they are in power. And so they can do whatever without anybody asking them to account. That of Imo State, I'm not surprised.
Why are you not surprised?
Because the governor have not, I don't think he came to govern Imo State, so why should he pay you salary?
What did he come to do?
You say?
What would a governor come to do in power if not to govern, and govern properly for people to see the dividend of his leadership on them? I'm asking, what else is there to do?
With the level of insecurity he came with, how can he work? He came there with insecurity. And the thing is about to even consume him and the administration. That's why he's always running to Abuja.
So if he wasn't working, why was he voted back in his second tenure?
You should ask those who orchestrated his coming from number 4 to become number 1 in Imo State.
From Supreme Court judgment?
The Supreme Court should tell us. Because the Justice Nweze, who gave the minority judgment on that particular case, told you that judgment will haunt Imo State for a long time to come. He said it. And
but they were aware of that, or did they not understand that judgment before they put it out there? That
was the minority judgment. So those who put him there, he was there to do a particular job. And he's doing it fully,
What kind of job? Barrister, I'd like us to be direct.
Yes, I said he brought insecurity into Imo State.
So you're saying the Imo State governor is there or was put in there to bring in insecurity in his own state against his own people?
Yes.
But Barrister, that doesn't make sense.
No, for them, you think they came to govern you? If not, ask yourself, since the creation of Imo State, how come? It was only when this hope was
and Imo used to be a very peaceful state.
Very peaceful place. The man came and scattered everything for his own selfish reason. So he didn't come to govern. I would not be surprised if he did not pay salary.
Wow. So Barrister was still talking about, I don't know if it's about the APC, but I know it's the administration now. We have a story here. A lot of people, last week, IMF, World Bank said Nigeria is among the poorest countries in the world, or Nigeria has the highest number of poorest people living in poverty, in multidimensional poverty. But there is an APC chieftain here who is saying a contrary, or has a contrary opinion to that, because he is saying that the APC and the current President Bola Tinubu's administration have lifted 10 million Nigerians out of poverty. And this is according to Tanko Sununu, an APC chieftain from the north. Barrister Darlington, do you think the lives of Nigerians, 10 million is a great number, do you think 10 million Nigerians have been lifted out of poverty? Are you seeing that reflecting on the lives of an average Nigerian, especially people in the rural area?
I have told you here that one of the criteria for becoming an APC member, or one of the criteria for you to get appointment in APC, is your capacity and ability to lie. I mean, lie in a shameless manner. That's the only thing that you need to get into APC, so that they can give you appointment. The chieftain that is talking, thank God, is from the north. This poverty level we are talking about, where is it mostly prevalent? Is it not from among his people? So
Barrister, Sokoto State has the highest number. Now you mentioned the North. I'm sorry to cut you short, but you continue. But I just want to let you know that Sokoto State has the highest number of people living in multidimensional poverty. Barrister, at 91%. That is such a high number.
So, and somebody from the same North is telling you that they have lifted. And he didn't
10 million people.
He didn't tell you where are the figures. He just mentioned name. 10 million. On what basis? How? What is the indices? This one that things are getting out of hand. The prices of foodstuff. The poor man can no longer afford them. And you are telling me, he's talking to himself. He's talking to himself.
So Barrister, according to data here, we'll have Nigerian Multidimensional Poverty Index, according to NPI. Approximately 133 million Nigerians, about 63% of Nigerians, Barrister, are living in multi-dimensional poverty.
So you just have 37.
More than 60% Nigerians are multi-dimensionally poor. Like, they can't afford up to $1 a day. That is what it means, Barrister.
That is the height of poverty anywhere in the world. In fact, we have taken the trophy. We are taking the trophy.
So if about 10 million people out of these 100 and something million people have been lifted out of poverty by this administration, everybody will know at least a certain percentage of those people being lifted out of poverty. How come we're not seeing those statistics? How come it's not reflecting in the lives of normal Nigerians or average Nigerians?
Because it does not exist. You cannot give what you don't have. Those figures he mentioned does not exist. He just woke up to please Tinubu. He gave him that figure. It does not exist. By the way, what is 10 million against 133 million? So you are not there yet.
All right, so Barrister, let's look at the United Kingdom and Nigeria trying to fight trans-border crimes such as immigration laws, fraud, and all of that. That's a good thing because this may likely put Nigeria on a better map in the international space. Do you not think so? And this has also brought me to Peter Obi's statement that has been making waves, Barrister Darlington. Yesterday, Sanwo-Olu disagreed with that Obi statement in John Hopkins that he made. And part of what Obi said is that if you're sick in Nigeria, the only thing you can do is pray, because you will not have access to good health care. There is no access to good healthcare facilities in Nigeria. And that is why people have just resolved or resorted to churches and praying. So it looks like that's a major reason why we have a lot of churches and hospitals and industries in Nigeria.
So
do you share the same thoughts?
So tell me, what is wrong with what Peter Obi said based on the statistics on the ground and what World Bank said? So I don't see why Sanwo-Olu should be bickering over what he said. He should have contradicted and said, look, it is a lie. Look at the figures. But he was expecting Peter Obi to go there and then massage a festering wound, something that the whole world is aware of. And you want Peter Obi to go there and lie to them, Abi, so that he will be a good boy. Look, you cannot hide a 6-month-old pregnancy. It's not possible. No matter how you try, people will say that your tummy is out there. So what are you saying? Sanwo-Olu should have told us, even in his state, Lagos State, the failure rate in WAEC is alarming. They say 54% of Lagos youth are now failing WAEC. They are no longer there. They are no longer going to school. They are resorted to agbero and extortion of money from people.
All right, Barrister, let's...
business here now. So where you go, everywhere you go, Owoda, Owomida, Owoda.
What does that mean, sir?
That's where is my money? As if they give you money to Owo boys.
In Lagos, because Lagos is the only you could ask a simple question from a stranger and they're asking you for money. I don't see that happening in any other state, especially where I come from. That doesn't happen. But Barrister, let's move on now and talk about the president's alleged drug related case, and that information is going to be made public by 2nd May, which is around the corner, 2 days to come now. We spoke about this before. What are you expecting, or how do you think Nigerians are going to react if this information is made public?
I think this time they have been dilly-dallying. They have been, trying to be clever by half, because they said the Tinubu is their active asset. But the court has said no, for public interest, bring out this, that these people ought to know. They're supposed to know who is ruling them as the president. So I don't see what is wrong there. I know they will do that because Donald Trump is not a friend of Tinubu. Joe Biden is no longer there.
So how is this going to place the president politically, especially because we've seen that there are already roadmaps and plans, mapping out for 2027 against 2027. How would this affect his 2027 ambition?
It will truncate it, because I don't see why those things will be presented early now. And then Tinubu will still go ahead to contest on what ground? Because what saved him the last time is that the Supreme Court assumed this time around
he would never succeed come 2027.
More than enough. I want to see that lawyer will go to court to tell her that with all this embarrassing record that Tinubu is supposed to be the president of Nigeria. The shame will be on them, because elsewhere outside here, no lawyer will even try to defend such nonsense. Your license will be withdrawn. You can't do that, even though you are expected to provide the legal counsel to everybody. But when this evidence is overwhelming, because I remember the lawyer that defended Ibori in UK, he went to jail with Ibori. The Indian lawyer, he went to jail with him when he wanted to.
But have you seen that happen in Nigeria?
I heard. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So something must start from somewhere.
All right, Barrister, before we quickly wrap up, let's look at it in 1 minute if it's possible. PDP strengthening their threatening legal action against Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowere for defecting to the APC. He's not the first governor who have defected, or neither is he the first politician who has defected. Is this going to hold water at any point?
If they are talking of state assembly members and national assembly members in Edo State, there is a legal provision for them to do that. But that of the governor, I didn't see where it is. So I don't know whether they will succeed or not. I don't think so. If they are talking of state assembly concerning section 109, like in River State.
But that of River State wasn't even a problem, because after all the dilly-dallying, they refused, or they denied that they defected. They are still, we're not sure if they're still in APC, in PDP rather, or they've gone to APC, but we're seeing how everything has panned out.
That is what I'm advising PDP now. They should not waste their time over such things. They should concentrate on putting their house in order, because this distraction now will take their time and energy, and even money. And all this thing, they need it to prepare for 2027.
All right, thank you
Except
so much,
they are telling me
Barrister.
now that there is no more PDP in Nigeria.
Sadly, we're really out of time. Thank you so much, Barrister Darlington, for your submission on the Midday News today.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, Barrister Darlington is, of course, VOP in-house analyst and a legal practitioner. We'll bring you the rest of the news, where we'll tell you what happened in Edo State and cracking down on crime linked to properties, and the rest of the story shortly after this break. Don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and this is still the midday news on Voice of the People television. And now to Edo State, where the government has launched a major crackdown on properties linked to kidnapping and cultism, sparking controversy and concern among residents and stakeholders. In a bid to combat violent crime, Governor Monday Okpebholo's administration has begun demolition buildings connected to criminal activities, raising questions about the impact on property owners. Around the funds and offers courses already available in Nigerian universities. The BEA program, established through diplomatic partnerships, enabled Nigerian students to study in various countries, including China, Russia, Algeria, Hungary, Morocco, Egypt, and Serbia. Under the program, students were supported with funds for tuition and living expenses. While Minister of Education Tunji Alausa made the announcement during a courtesy visit by newly elected officials of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Abuja. Still talking education, the National Universities Commission has approved 18 full-time programs for the newly established Federal University of Applied Science, Kachia, in southern part of Kaduna State. The pioneer vice-chancellor of the university, Professor William Quirks, announced the approval in a statement. University program 5 academic basic successful resource programs, validation of existing exercises carried out by the NUC in FWASC. And here in Lagos, the state government has announced a 110-day emergency repair program for the September 2025 rather. The statement's Ministry of Transportation disclosed this in a statement detailing a diversion plan to manage traffic flow throughout that period. Now, according to the statement, the repair works will be executed in 8 phases, with the first 4 phases targeting the inbound stretch of the Uwarun-Shoki 3rd Axial Bridge towards the 3rd Mainland Bridge from May 6th to July 14th. The remaining 4 phases from July 15th to September 23rd will cover the outbound carriageway from the 3rd Mainland Bridge. And to reduce congestion and ease movement, to use Welcome back, and now to business stories. The Naira continued its downward trajectory on Tuesday, closing at 1.602.02 thousand to a dollar at the official Nigerian foreign exchange markets. This is according to data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This represents a further depreciation from Monday's closing rate of 1,596 Naira per dollar. Income around 100 per dollar, showing a widening gap. The persistent depreciation highlights ongoing pressure on the local currency as Nigeria continues to grapple with inadequate dollar inflows and speculative demands in both official and unofficial markets. Still in business, stakeholders in Nigeria's telecom sector are urging for stronger legislative provisions to shield pressures and ensure continuity of the Nigerian Communications Commission. The call was made during a panel session in Lagos State that was put together by the NCC to review the Nigerian Communications Act 2003. Chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, Benga Adebayo, expressed concern about the growing number of regulations and interference from subnational authorities. He also emphasized the importance of preserving the NCC's autonomy, particularly regarding pricing decisions without external interference. In her remarks, Head of Legal and Regulatory Service at the NCC, Nyesom Wike, acknowledged that while the current Nigerian Communication Act had driven industry growth, it now needed updating to align with technologies, models, and general obligations for industry players within the legal framework. This report says that the Securities and Exchange Commission is raising alarm over the rise of illegal investment schemes in Nigeria. This follows the collapse of CBEX, an online cryptocurrency platform that defrauded investors over $1 billion. VOPTV's Matthew Ogunswada tells us more on this report.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has called on Nigerians to report any suspected investigation and enforcement. This follows the collapse of the fraudulent cryptocurrency platform, CBEX, which caused losses of over $1 billion. The Commission warned that Ponzi schemes and unregistered digital platforms pose serious threats to the country's capital market stability. It raised concerns about schemes offering unusually high returns with little or no risk, often hiding under the cover of cryptocurrency, forex, and blockchain investments. The Commission pledged to prosecute violators fully and called for public cooperation to safeguard Nigeria's investment environment. As Voice of the People TV.
All right, well, sorry for that technical issues going on there. We'll keep you updated on the 9 p.m. news bulletin. And now to the rest of the stories. Victor Osimhen has paid a touching tribute to Nigerian Professional Football League champions Remo Stars by gifting the club a celebration historic win. They said nation. This gesture comes after Remo Stars clinched their first ever NPFL crown with victory over Niger Tornadoes. And elsewhere in sports, Paris Saint-Germain seized the advantage in their Champions League semi-finals against Arsenal as Ousmane Dembélé sealed a 10-0 win in the first leg. Dembélé struck in the opening minutes at the Emirates Stadium, and Luis Enrique's side held on into the second leg at the Milan as they lock. And now rounding off with an reassuring still as e-money.
From the view home
to the like energy.